I mean, we are very happy that we are here back in Baku for the 13th edition of the Global Baku Forum. And despite the difficulty of the times, there is a huge attendance, and we are very grateful for all the people who came. The topic is particularly relevant because we are trying to build bridges in a time of transition, not to say even of rupture. The system, the global system that we have inherited from the last century is breaking at the seams, as we can see. Wars are rampant in many places, but more importantly, the new search for peace has to be done by building new bridges, by designing new systems. And I think we were all very grateful that in our inaugural session, President Ilham Aliyev gave us a keynote speech in which he expressed, of course, his commitment to peace and his commitment to development. And in fact, we have seen this, of course, in the case of Azerbaijan, which has developed beautifully. And in the meantime, he has also been advancing the cause of consolidation of the Nagorno-Karabakh region inside Azerbaijan, but also building a peace treaty with Armenia. And I think all of that shows, and to his credit, what can be done with visionary leaders like President Ilham Aliyev. We hope that in this panel, in this series of panels and discussions we're going to have here, we will have occasion to listen from people who have had great experience and a lot of wisdom. And maybe out of our dialogue and discussions, debates and disagreements, there will also be emerging ideas that may find their way towards implementation for a better world for all.
Well, first of all, it's an excellent question and a very urgent question. And the panel which just finished before our lunch, was discussing the different perspectives on global security, the different regional perspectives on global security. And the fact that there is so much tension between the different regional perspectives and no clear understanding of how to move beyond the tension between different constructions of what global security is. And as a fellow of the World Academy of Arts and Science, I can tell you that the World Academy works very intensely on the concept of global security as human security. Because when we think about human security, all of a sudden we're not thinking so much about regional interests, we're thinking about planetary realities. We're thinking about climate crisis, we're thinking about pandemic threats, we're thinking about the way that wars affect the reality of human security. And so that is a fundamental approach, we believe, a foundational approach which can unite different regional interests and perspectives on global security. When we begin to shift the conversation so that we're not disregarding the importance of regional perspectives on global security, but we're coming together on what unites different regional perspectives, which is the concern about human security. Well, once again, all these aspects of life in the 21st century, we believe in the World Academy, they need to be laid on a solid collective foundation. When we identify what are the principles of human security, what are drivers of human security, then we also have a frame of reference from which to think about all the phenomena, the local and global phenomena, such as, for example, the development of artificial intelligence, which, when it is subject to fundamental principles that protect the security of people and the correct use of technological developments, then it can only serve the advancement of civilization. But right now we have a situation where technological advancement is far outstripping the advancement of consciousness. And really, that is why the World Academy of Art and Science was created at a time when atomic power was first being discovered, because there was an understanding by scientists that unless human collective consciousness evolves rapidly and can really keep up with the needs of humanity in terms of rapid technological advancements, technology is going to become a threat, as we know it is now. Both atomic power and, of course, AI has all kinds of dark aspects to it, in addition to also it being very useful. So again, we come back to the fact that as humans, everything we decide, everything we perceive begins with our minds, it begins with consciousness. And so unless we're working for the development, for the next level of evolution of our collective consciousness, locally, regionally, nationally, globally, we are always balancing on the razor blade of danger of one kind, very thin line between safety and danger. So there's really no global security unless we are looking at the development of consciousness together and the foundational principles of human security and human collective consciousness.
I'm the General Manager of the World Academy of Art and Science, and the questions you ask are very big ones. I don't think they're easy answers. I think the whole world is looking for answers right now. People aren't sure where to look for those answers. What the World Academy is doing here in Baku this week is we are hosting a special side event at the end of this Baku Forum to discuss global turbulence. What we're looking at is the source of global turbulence. I think a lot of us are looking at the results of what happens when you don't focus on those very important things earlier on. We're looking at the result. It's much easier to get to the source of it and try and avert it earlier than trying to deal with the fallout that we're seeing in the world right now. So we're going to be discussing the origins of global turbulence, and most importantly, this comes down to people. People can talk policy, they can talk treaties, they can talk peace deals. Ultimately, it comes down to personal interaction. Why people have problems with each other, how those gaps between cultures and people can be closed for better understanding. A lot of the problems of the world have got to do with misunderstanding. People are being driven ideologically and politically to think and believe a certain way without considering what the other side might be thinking. And true peace can only really happen when people start seeing each other as human beings on a very basic level.
Is a very important platform for dialogue, to build understanding and to seek solutions at a time when they are urgently required. We have seen what is happening in this region, and its impact, its wider impact on the entire global community in terms of the risks to inflation, growth, jobs, stability, and of course, sustainable peace.
There are people who are not living in good housing, so also the question of slums and better housing in the future is there, but particularly how can we help poor people? Think of Gaza. In Gaza, people are still in a very, very bad condition. So we will touch upon all of that. And at the end, we do hope to feed that also into the institutions, into the UN, into the World Health Organization, and so on.
Instead of speaking, out of speaking, but we need to start to implement the project that we are discussing about. But since there is United Nations, there is OEA, there is a lot of organizations in the world, we are pushing them to do their job the way that they're supposed to. I think, we need to change the kind of leadership that we're using now. Because with the internet, with the AI, with the young people that you are, the young people, they are very smart now, more than I was when I was young myself. We need to change leadership. We need to keep our word, and we need to push more in order to change the world the way that they're going. That question, it's a very hard question. When we have to address it, sometimes we are looking ourselves, we are asking ourselves why they go like this. Why one country don't want a country to manage their population or manage their country the way that it is supposed to. So I think the big nation, the chief or the chief of the world, they need to think twice before making those kind of decisions.